Ask any business owner and you'll find out that rewards are one of the most powerful motivators. People are more willing to work toward a goal when they know they will get something out of it at the end. Since your boss probably won't reward you for losing weight or remodeling your bathroom, you can plan to give yourself a reward when you meet a given goal. When selecting self-rewards, be sure to match them to your goals. This will not only ensure you don't get tired of the same reward, but will also help you when you're planning the strategies you'll use to accomplish your aims. For example, if you'd like to spend less time watching television and more time outside or with your family, you can reward yourself with a trip to the theater to see a great movie. If you're planning to quit smoking, part of your strategy could be to set aside some of the money you'll save by not buying cigarettes and get yourself a new outfit, or something you've had your eye on for a while, but haven't been able to afford. Some goals come with intrinsic rewards already built in, yours for the claiming when you reach your objective. For example, if you're going to start your own business, you already know you'll be rewarded by working for yourself, possibly even by working out of your home. Whether you're working for an intrinsic reward or providing yourself with an incentive, treating yourself is a great way to generate enthusiasm for the task at hand. Simply surrender, that's right. Sometimes, you should just give up. This may not be the type of advice you'd expect to find in a book about positive thinking. However, there is a specific time when you should surrender, and that is when you hate doing what you're doing. Like what you do. If you don't like it, do something else. Paul Harvey. Too many people end up settling for the life they think they ought to have, the life others have told them to expect, or the life they believe they're stuck with. You must realize that there is room on this planet for everyone, and if you're feeling trapped in a job you despise or a living space you can't stand, you need to make a change, not down the road, when you have time, or as soon as you get whatever it is you've been waiting for, but right now. That elusive someday is always going to be in the future, and you can't catch up to the future. Now is the only time you have. This doesn't mean you should drop everything and throw caution to the wind, at least, not in most cases. If you're like most people, you have responsibilities that must be taken care of. However, there is always something you can do right now to cast out your net and catch someday and start pulling it toward you. Do you hate your job, but lack the experience to get a different one? Start taking night classes or sign up for an online course. There are hundreds of accredited universities offering distance learning classes over the internet. Is your house or apartment located in a neighborhood that started out great, but is becoming worse every day, and you haven't found the time or the money to move? Take a close look at your budget and see if there's anything you can do without for a few months, or ask your landlord or bank if they have any other properties you could look into. Waiting fuels the fires of apathy. Doing something about your situation, no matter how small or insignificant it may seem, can start a chain reaction of enthusiasm that will energize you to reach your goals. You deserve to get what you want out of life while you're still here to enjoy it. Don't put it off another day, because your someday is right now. Motivation is what gets you started. Habit is what keeps you going. A quote by Jim Ryan. Now that you've planted your mental garden, you will start to see the beginnings of growth in yourself and your surroundings. At this stage, it is important to nurture the tender new beginnings of your confident, positive self. You should learn to recognize the effects of positive thinking in your life and encourage the development of strong roots to anchor yourself in success. Tenacity helps. There's only one corner of the universe you can be certain of improving, and that's your own self. A quote by Aldous Huxley. As you practice using positive thinking, you will find that things begin to change for you. Sometimes the change is so gradual you don't notice anything at all, until one day someone else tells you that you seem different. They may ask if you've gotten a new outfit, changed your hair, lost weight, or won the lottery. Tapping into positive thinking not only makes you happier, it also makes you more attractive, the kind of person others want to be around. Now that you've had some experience, you might recognize some of the common signs of positively charged people. Check out this list of things you have to look forward to. You know you're a positive thinker when your grueling drive to work goes by so quickly, you wonder why it ever bothered you in the first place. Or, the clerk at the grocery store gives you the wrong change, you point it out with a smile, and she happily corrects the mistake. Or, you waited in line at the bank for 25 minutes on your lunch hour, and your life didn't end. Positive thinking has the power to change your life, as long as you believe it does. As you continue to use positive thinking techniques, you will find you don't have to put much effort into achieving what you want. When a man points a finger at someone else, he should remember that 4 of his fingers are pointing at himself. A quote by Louis Nizer. Every path has its obstacles. Along the road to positive thinking, you will find only one: yourself. Human beings have a tendency to create conspiracies against themselves and impose the self-limiting beliefs that surround them on every aspect of their lives, whether these restrictive ideals result from environment, upbringing, or a combination of influential factors. You may not even recognize your own self-defeating actions. However, the power to access the benefits of positive thinking rests solely within yourself, and you are the only one that can stand in your way. Therefore, you must learn how to step aside and allow yourself to develop to your full potential. Following are some of the most common patterns of self-limiting behavior, along with steps you can take to get out of your own way and blaze your personal path to happiness and success. There's always tomorrow. Eradicate procrastination. To be always intending to make a new and better life, but never find time to set about it, is as to put off eating and drinking and sleeping from one day to the next, until you're dead. A quote by Og Mandino. Procrastination is the easiest thing in the world to perfect, and one of the hardest habits to break. There will always be a good reason to put off whatever you want to accomplish, whether it's vacuuming the living room carpet or finally taking that European vacation you've been planning for years. When you realize you're putting something off, one of the best things you can do is to ask yourself why you don't want to do it. The reasons for procrastination are as varied as the people who practice it. The task is boring or repetitive, you are afraid you won't be able to handle it, the project is difficult or time-consuming, it is going to be an unpleasant experience, you dread the possible consequences of seeing the task through to completion. Once you know what is stopping you from moving ahead, you can determine your strategy for accomplishing your goal and get unstuck. How do you crush procrastination in its tracks? The remedies for moving past procrastination include just doing it. Whatever the task you're facing, simply pick a point and get started. Often things are not as bad as they seem, and once you start doing something, it's easier to build up momentum that will carry you through to the end. Tell yourself that when you finish the unpleasant task, you won't have it hanging over your head, and you can move on to better things. As well as taking a few minutes to break up larger tasks into small, manageable goals. For example, if you are attempting to organize your desk at work, you might pick one drawer and get that done, and then take a break and do something else before returning for the next drawer. Meeting a series of small goals is more motivating and encouraging than trying to tackle a huge project all at once. Prepare yourself to work through distractions when you're taking on a task. If possible, ignore the phone and definitely resist the temptation to play solitaire or check your email a dozen times. Make sure your mind is made up to do whatever it is you're doing and nothing else until it's finished. You will feel better knowing it's done, and you'll waste less time on sideline projects. Ensure you have enough time to finish the task you're starting. If you know you're going to be interrupted or run out of time before you're through, choose one part of the task to complete instead of trying to rush through the whole thing. Rushing to meet a deadline you know you can't make causes more stress and can actually make things happen slower because you're worried that you won't be able to accomplish what you've set out to do. Give yourself a break, and your stress level will thank you. Despite our best positive thinking efforts, things do occasionally take a turn for the unexpected. Delays are a given in many situations. When you're planning a task or goal, it is important to factor in time in case things go wrong. Delays are a major facilitator of procrastination. It's easy to convince yourself to put things off when you already have to wait. Make sure you have a backup plan in place so you can avoid putting things off and still meet your completion goals comfortably. The best executive is the one who has sense enough to pick good men to do what he wants done, and self-restraint enough to keep from meddling with them while they do it. A quote by Theodore Roosevelt. People are always going to ask you to do things for them. That's life. Often we are asked to make commitments we don't feel comfortable with, don't have time for, or just plain don't want to make, but saying no makes us feel even worse than agreeing to something we don't like. Women especially fall victim to the overcommitment syndrome. You should make it a habit to say no more often, particularly when you know that agreeing to take on a certain commitment is going to wreak havoc with your life, even though the little voice in your head is telling you accepting would be the nice thing to do. When it comes to your sanity, the nicest thing is to make sure you don't overextend yourself and end up performing a large number of tasks with substandard results. The first step in learning to say no is deciding which things you should agree to commit to, and which things are all right to pass on. This decision should stem from your personal priorities, the things that are important to you in your life. This is one reason why it's important to define your goals clearly when you begin using the power of positive thinking. Weigh each request against your goals and decide whether agreeing to them would move you closer or further away from your objectives. When you come to a point where you must refuse a request, there are several ways to say no without hurting feelings or making yourself appear inconsiderate. Be as honest as possible when saying no, and you will be able to proceed with a guilt-free conscience. Everyone wants approval and acceptance from those we care about. However, too often we depend on approval so much that we lose sight of the most important approval of all: our own. Do you find yourself agreeing just to avoid disagreeing? Are you constantly seeking out the approval of others before you make a decision? This approval addiction is damaging to your quest for improving your life through positive thinking. By feeding your approval habit, you become less reliant on your own thoughts and feelings, and therefore less in tune with your goals and what is truly best for you. Though it's nice to have the support of other people, the only person you can make happy 100% of the time is you. How can you kick the approval habit and stop worrying about what other people think of your actions? Here are several action plans you can follow in order to make sure your people-pleasing prowess is used only where you want it to be, and not as a crutch for social acceptance. In order to avoid seeking approval for approval's sake, you have to know your own beliefs and standards. Being aware of what you believe in will help you voice your opinions and choose the right path for yourself, even when others don't agree. Developing a healthy moral code is an important part of the process of positive thinking. Writing down your moral code can help to cement your ideals and beliefs and serve as a guide for your decision-making process. Think about the issues that are important to you. Do you believe family values come before everything else? Is your career important to you? Where do you stand on politics? Would you rather be vocal in your beliefs or try to make a difference in the background through voting? Your moral code should govern your actions in every situation, and you should never violate your beliefs simply to gain approval from someone else. Standing up for what you believe in can be an integral part of taking control of yourself and your life. When you stop seeking approval or validation for all of your thoughts and ideas, you become a stronger person, and the people who truly care about you will respect and admire you for it, rather than turning away. Be informed and develop your moral code, then stick to it. You will be surprised at how much better you feel about yourself, and you won't need anyone else to second your opinion. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you found the information useful. If you like the content and would like to keep learning and developing yourself, please consider to subscribe and share this video with the people around you. Thank you so much for watching.